Pleasure to be joined on the show once again by the American League MVP. Once again, it's Aaron Judge. And Aaron, I appreciate how little in season you like talking about yourself because it's a team game. But I hope that you can respect that in this instance, I kind of need you to talk about yourself. So we're good with that understanding at the beginning?
Let's see how this goes. Let's see what you ask.
All right, let's frame it this way. You have had seasons, 3 out of 4 years you're the MVP. You've had historic seasons where there doesn't seem to be much room to get better, and yet you are doing that. I'm interested in if there's a particular area, Aaron, where you've gotten better that you're most proud of in terms of what you've done over the course of these last few years.
Wow, Scott. I can go different ways with this, but I think getting a chance to win a batting title kind of raised the average a little bit. I think was kind of the number one goal for me. I just want to find a way to get on base for the guys around me. Especially this past season, we had a really great team, really complete team. You had a Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Bellinger to your lineup. You have a lot of young rookies that had a lot of great success. My main focus was get on base as much as I can and drive as many guys as I can when they're out there for me. So I think just raising the average a little bit was one of the main focuses, and we have great hitting coaches with the Yankees that really helped me kind of fine tune that going into spring training, and happy to be able to do that.
I've been really lucky to do this for a long time, and in whatever sport it is, whether it's the athletes or the coaches, I always appreciate most, Aaron, the players that are at the very top that find ways to get better or just find ways to stay there, because that's the hardest thing to do. Where do you find the motivation or that continues your focus on doing what you have done, which is maintaining this place at the very top of the game, not just in this era, but really ever?
I think a lot of that goes with just the expectations I put on myself, but I think also, when you play in New York, you play in front of these fans, you play in front of the Yankee faithful, man. They expect the best out of you, not only in the big games, but every single game. It could be a game in April 15th where there's not that many people there, or a game in September 15th where there's not that many people. They expect you to go out there and give it your all and come out with a win. So I just love having that type of pressure, type of expectations. It just kind of brings the best out of you.
As a guy who's had historic seasons, I really love to know your perspective on the season Cal Raleigh had, because the dumper did some amazing things. It was a very close vote. And had he won, I would have said, I could see it. I feel like they got it right. I feel like if I had a vote, which I did, and I'd have given you the vote. But had he won, it would have made sense on some levels. What did he do this year that most impressed you?
Wow, Cal had an incredible year. We could talk about, we want to talk about the home runs. We could talk about leading the league in RBIs, but I think, leading his team to a division championship, I think that was probably the biggest thing in my eyes. He's a guy back there who's catching, an impressive pitching staff they have. Not only their starting rotation, but their bullpen is one of the nastiest in the game. You do all that, plus battling a tough AL West division where, Houston's been on top of that for years. Texas just won the championship a couple of years ago. Seattle's had a great team for years, and to finally bust through and win a division, that was pretty special, I think, in my eyes, is just seeing, the way they battled throughout the whole year in a tough division. And, it starts with that man behind the plate. It was fun to watch. We had battles back and forth throughout the years when we went to Seattle and they came to New York, and I wish nothing but the best for Cal, man. It was a treat to watch him and compete against him all year.
Years ago, it feels like about a decade when our show started, you came in after your rookie year, and I just think about this now as we talk again, given all that you've done, and realize how quickly time passes. And you're not an old guy by any stretch, but you're also not a kid in the game. What is the passage of time? How does it impact, Aaron, just a sense of urgency and in terms of how you prepare to get to that last hurdle in New York?
Yeah, you take it back to the first time we met, man. We were shooting that commercial up there. That was a pretty good time. I don't know if they're still showing that commercial anymore.
I hope not, because I ran really weird. I ran weird, and everybody made fun of how I ran. It was this weird thing of my thumbs, but that's neither here nor there. But it was a while ago, and now here we are.
Yeah, it was a home run trot. Nobody can say anything about a home run trot. But when I look back all over the years, I think just try not to take it for granted. You know, every single year I get a chance to play in New York and wear these pinstripes and play for this great franchise. I just try not to take any of it for granted. You know, every year is so different. Every year is so special. You know, we can have a lot of great years, but, you know, our ultimate goal is to go out there and win a championship every single year and bring it back to the city. And, you know, that's what drives me every single year, you know, and especially the young guys we keep bringing up who are having great seasons. You know, Ben Rice came out and had an excellent season for us and is going to continue to prove this next season. You know, the veteran players that we bring in to kind of complement us has been special. So for me, it's just really not taking anything for granted and just appreciate every moment.
Well said. I'm going to close with this because it was pointed out by our show staff that when you came in, back then you had hit more home runs against Baltimore than anyone else. At the time it was 8, and I asked you to stop. And Aaron, you didn't listen, and so I'm going to say more forcefully now. Now you have 51 home runs against my squad, and I've had enough. I get that you play them a lot, but it's someone else. Just spread the wealth, my man. Someone else. Anyone but Baltimore. I'm asking politely.
I'll try, man. They're a tough division opponent. You know, they've beat up on us for years. We have great battles back and forth at Camden Yards.
Look, I'm joking. You're going to hit home runs against whoever you play against. My wish for you, and you already said it well, the perspective to appreciate what it is and the moments, right? You're living in an incredible time with the things you're accomplishing. I salute what you've done, man. I appreciate you spending some time on what I know has got to be a special day for you and your family. Thank you.
Always, Scott. I appreciate it. All the best.